Infinito tren nos acaba, los paisajes cambian sin cesar, el silencio de las ventanas acarician mi hondo pesar. No puedo pensar en pararme.
When I was young, in the high school, they taught us how to work on these machines. And I remember we had an old teacher. He was really like maybe 70 something, maybe 80. And he was hitting us with a stick on our hands. You know, when you are a kid, you think that it's not just, he mustn't hit you. But finally, you know, later I understood that we could cut literally our fingers because these machines are really dangerous. So probably he was right. Well, me, I was always a good student, so he didn't hit me. And I have a machine now that is similar to one that I was studying in high school. It's a small turning machine, but it's quite good for what we need. And we got it from an old man who was closing his workshop, and he sold me the drill that we will install on this machine. So now the aim is just to put them near the wall, so we can use them later. Now I just remove all the dust.
Consuela, me ofrece claridad para pensar, para sentir mi más sincera voluntad. La voz del tiempo es la única verdad que tengo.
Got stuck. Almost. Okay. Usually on these machines there always was a lamp. Well, we didn't have an original lamp, so I found one. And here normally there must be a fan, but there's no fan. I don't know if do I start it or not. Do we start it? Do we risk? What?
What's the risk?
I don't know. Let's see. I want to start it. I want to start and see does it work. Well, let's first be sure that everything is unplugged. Everything is unplugged here. All the tools are. How does it work? I don't even remember how it works. This movement, yes. This movement, I'm not sure. Débray, okay. Like this. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the tool. You put it here, then you close it with the wrench. Here you have this little wrench, like to close all this, and this turns, and you put here a tool like this to cut. So you cut, and there were special formulas. And I remember I was inventing some formulas because really, when I was kid, I was fond of these machines, really. Okay, let's start. Well, I don't have much oil, but I think it will be okay. Let's see if it explodes or not. Or maybe it takes fire.
In the worst case, we will have content.
Exactly, in worst case, we have some content. Like this. Well, for the moment it doesn't move. Maybe there's a button. Well, I'm not touching it for now. I will do it later because really, you know, I'm quite scared of these little machines. Our neighbor told us when he was young, he also worked on this kind of machine, so he knows. So this, what else? Okay, I just got some mail for Nicholas, you know, for the guy Well, actually, his nickname is Nicolas Cage because sometimes he wears a cage. Guess what kind of cage? It's our neighbor who likes giving nicknames to people who gave him this one. Well, so for Nicholas, we need to ask some financement for his education because, you know, he is like young worker, so he has some rights and he can get some education paid by the state for, I don't know, for security or something. So we need to ask tonight. I will have to do it. But now let's continue with machines. It really frees up some space. So here, I don't need this anymore. And the other machine is quite light. I remember I was moving it by myself. So now I'll put the drill just next to the turning machine. Well, it's quite heavy, but last time I managed to move it by myself. I will try to make it walk. Maybe I will damage the paint, but it doesn't matter. We can repaint a little bit over. Heavy. I don't know if it won't be easier to just put it like walking. I'll put immediately the screw like this. It's fixed to the ground. So that's a Montesa Cotta from '74, a motorcycle for trial. And I wanted to put it as decoration. So it will go up. Well, now this one will be not easy to steal. This workshop belonged to some guy. His name was Raoul Garnier, but his nickname was Nenes. I have no idea why, but he was an old mechanic and he was really very slow. Like all the people that remember him, they say that he was really very slow. And he was someone you need to speak gently to him. He was quite tall, you know, I found some of his clothes and some of them fit me. Well, and so when he died, his grandchildren were selling the garage, and so, you know, when I got it, I asked to not to empty it. You know, that's why I came and found a lot of, well, a lot of rubbish for sure, but also a lot of old tools, and you know, I think now we are quite fully equipped for doing cars and bikes. But this machine for tires, it wasn't his one, it was mine. It was mine, and I was using it, so it's quite, well, it's quite recent. I was always fond of motorcycles, and I got my first Harley Davidson. I was 20, and it was Harley Davidson without papers. I couldn't insure it, but you know, I was just riding it. It was Electroglide from 80s or something. Like, you know, the first Evo Evolution motors, like 1340 cubic inches, I think, no, sorry, cubic centimeters. I think it's 90 cubic inches, something like this. Yeah, because, you know, here in Europe, we don't say, like, you know, the Sportster, for example, it's 883 or 1200. And then you have 1340 and then 1450. I know you say like 90 inches, 95 inches, like this one Milwaukee 8 is 107 cubic inches, so that's it. And so my first bike was a BMW C1, you know, a weird scooter with a roof. I had some money when I arrived in France. I was 17. You know, I had already my driver license for the motorcycles, because the driver license for motorcycles in Russia, I'm Russian. So people who were asking what is my nationality, I'm Russian. So in Russia, you kind of get your driver license for motorcycle if you want when you are 16. So I was doing something called, I don't know, in French, speedway. I think in English it's called flat track. You have to train, you know, you train on some club and then like sport club, and then you do flat track competitions, and like this you can get a license later. So, you know, when I was 16, I got my driver license for the motorcycles, and then I came in France. I had money to buy a bike. I wanted to buy some used bike, and my parents told me, like, we will add you some money, get something safe. But finally, this scooter C1 of BMW, it was nothing safe. You know, I have some scars on my body. These scars are from this scooter. I never got any. I touch wood and I touch monkey skin. I didn't have any. I didn't go get any from a Harley or from other motorcycles. So, you know, this bike, I kept it maybe for 3 years, and I can tell you, I was studying in the university. In the university, if you're driving bikes, normally all the chicks are fond of you. Not when you are riding a BMW C1. It's a one-person motorcycle. You don't have to wear a helmet, but you have 2 fucking belts on your sides, and it's really something weird, you know. And you cannot have a passenger, or you can put a passenger seat, but like this, you don't have a top case to put your stuff in. So I rode it maybe for 3 years. Yes. And meanwhile, I don't know how I lost my virginity. I had this bike, so it was completely not a bike to score with someone. But well, I managed. So and then I sold it, and I bought a used Honda Hornet 600 cubic centimeters. It was nice, but I was always fond of Harley Davidson, so chromes and big engines. So then I changed it for a Yamaha Dragstar. I think it was 1100 cubic centimeters, and then I passed to Harley, so I got my first Harley. I remember I was student, so students don't have much money. I was working. I was, working in a ranch cleaning for horses. I was doing masonry. What else I was doing? I was doing security for some city hall, on events of city hall. I was giving classes, and one of my weird experiences, it was, kind of sex chat. When you're a student, they offer you this kind of jobs. So in the evening or in the night, you are sitting in a room with a lot of geeks like you. You only thing that you have to do is to type very fast. You have a script, and some people connect to each other, they pay, and you have scripts, you have to put them. So you imitate a behavior of a horny woman who will reply to some random man who will speak about sex, So you have a script, you just write, and I remember it was quite nice because young men who were sitting there, they were playing video games, drinking beers, eating pizzas, and chatting. And the aim was to keep those clients as long as possible connected. Yes, also, what I was doing, I was playing music in some restaurants, in some parties. So, like when you do one evening like this, I could earn maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 euros per evening. So usually in the end of the month, I had enough to pay everything. Yes, but I didn't have enough to buy a decent motorcycle. So I got one without papers, and it was really difficult. Well, difficult. I got stopped a couple of times by the cops, but all the time they released me. I don't know why. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you watch without being subscribed. Please like, subscribe. We see that we have more views than followers. So if we can get some followers, it will be really very cool. It will motivate us, yes. Vusal, who is filming. One day we will show Vusal. For sure, you saw him. He was filming since the beginning. Since we started Pannard, he was filming, for almost a year, no? Yeah, almost a year. Filming, editing, it's Vusal. And I will start installing lights. Well, this one is light done from a part of an old mirror of a car, and a part from a Triumph Speed tripod. I had one, but I can tell you Triumph, it's not my kind of bike. Do I need this? Probably not. Maybe yes. Like this. I don't think I have more of motorcycle lights, but I have several from Caterpillar. Maybe I have one from motorcycle. I'll have to see because I want to put another one there, and I want to make them like it can put some light here, and then you turn it, it can put light there. I want to leave it like this. Ladies and gentlemen, so I would like to introduce you my neighbor Claudie, who is, very good person, and also he is a well of knowledge. But actually, we cannot share most of his knowledge because it talks about women or politics. So we cannot put it on internet. That's why I'm sorry. We will just introduce you, Claudie. Ladies and gentlemen, so we advanced a little bit in the garage. I still have my sights, and I really, I don't know why I'm out of force. I cannot heal. I don't know why. Well, it doesn't matter because we're advancing, and every step forward gives me forces. Some of you asked my address to send stickers that we can put on the post outside. We can also put them on the doors, whatever, because as you see, we're making here a place like a cool vintage garage. So if you want, the address is, it will be below. It's 8 Route de Fougères, 53500, Ernée. So now, as you liked my story from the last time, I will tell you another story, a wild nature story. Wild nature story, it will be about a guy who got lost in the forest. Okay, well, there was a client who first asked some kind of control because he was not sure in our piles, but finally he got an exchange, I don't know. He got a conversation with his design studio, who designed his house, the structural engineer, and they said that it's okay, that our piles are compliant with with our technical agreement. So why was he breaking our balls? But finally, we already hired a technical control, so now he just have to wait because, in the beginning he was quite insistent on the fact that we need to hire a special technical control. We made really a big effort to find one. We found one, so now just he will do it. So as Spanish people say, ajo y agua. Some people, Spanish-speaking people, they asked me to speak something in Spanish. Because, I was saying that I reply sometimes in comments in Spanish and some other languages like Polish, Russian, Serbian, whatever, almost all languages that I can understand. So yeah, what I can say in Spanish. Granada, calle de Elvira, donde viven las manolas, las que van por Alhambra, las tres y las cuatro solas. Just a poem about Granada of Federico García Lorca. Yeah, I speak Spanish. So what I wanted to say is, the story about the man who got lost in the forest. Once I had to hire a foreign team for our sites. So I got a team from some Eastern European country. There was a foreman and 3 of his workers who came to work with us. Usually, when you are in Europe, you can hire a team from another country, and they have to register the company in their country because now, Europe is like a common economical space. So one company can work in another country without any restrictions. So he registered the company in his country, he came to work with his team here, and he showed me his insurance and everything like this. And he had 2 guys like between 40 and 50 years old, so not kids. And once he had to take the van to go to some village nearby. He took the van at 10, he took a worker, and he had to be back near 12. He just went to see some supplier to get some stuff. And 12 passes, nothing happens. You know probably that between 12 and 2, generally in France, everything is closed. Like it's lunchtime, nobody works. So then 2 o'clock, nobody is back. Well, I'm working, so I don't worry, I just don't think about it. and then it's like 5 o'clock, and he calls me. He says, "Stan, we have a trouble." I say, "What's going on?" And he says, like, "You will only have a trouble. We can go back." I ask, "What's going on? The van is broken. What is going on?" He says, "No, my colleague is lost in the forest, and it's November. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. So here it's in November, quite like from 5 o'clock, it starts to be dark and cold." So I ask, "Where you are?" "I don't know. We just crossed in the forest." And I ask, "What happens?" He said, "Yeah, we went to pee. He saw some mushrooms. He wanted to collect them. He went to the forest. I didn't see him again." I say, "Okay." So I call the police. I go to the spot, and we find the foreman, and really the guy is missing. So the police came, and they come with one dog. So I told what I knew, that how the guy is, and we took some of his wear from the workshop. So the dog smelled his wear, but he couldn't find him in the forest. And the forest, it's not a big forest. It takes 4 kilometers by 8 kilometers, so it's not very big. But you can get lost there, and once an old man died there because he went in and he broke his leg, and so while waiting for some help, he just died. But this guy wasn't old, so I thought that maybe he's not dead yet, and so the police, they asked to the local farmers, to all of us, to surround the forest. We were all there, honking, yelling the name of the guy, and finally, nothing. And then they brought, by a helicopter, another dog from another town that is kind of more experienced dog. Do you know the dog type called bloodhound? So it was a bloodhound that they brought. In French, they're called the Saint-Hubert. Yeah, and so this dog was smelling, but always was going back to the road. So, we did it several times, nothing, and it was already very dark, and finally it was 1 or 2 o'clock of the night. So, they told us, we can see anything inside, we'd better come back in the morning. Now, we don't have anything to do. Okay, I say, okay, I was saying, let's see if we go back to their rooms, because we were renting for them a little house with some rooms. Let's see if the guy is there. And so that's what happened. When we went back to the place where they were living, the first thing that I see is this guy sitting in the entrance. And I asked him, why didn't you call us? He said, "Oh, I didn't think about it." "Okay, why didn't you go to the workshop?" Because the workshop is 1 kilometer away. "I wasn't remembering the road." Okay, so really weird guy. So, I called the police again to tell that we found him. So they came, they took his identity to verify that it's him and everything like this. And finally, I said just to the policeman, "We found you the guy that will clean the floors in your police station for a couple of weeks." So then he went to see them. He brought some cakes and some beer and then what. And, it was really a weird guy. And something else happened with him some days later when we were working in Paris. Usually they were getting paid by their foreman, and I was paying the foreman, and he was paying them. I don't know how much how it wasn't my deal how much he was paying them, but I don't think that I think the most of money a foreman was keeping for him, because he was really not a generous man. He was really tight. And so this guy never had money, and he was always asking to us cigarettes or I don't know what. And finally we understood that he had money, because once he comes to see me, he said, "Oh, I got robbed. It's your fault. Now you owe me 500 euros. I say, "How? I owe you 500 euros? What happened?" So this guy was having cash with him, 500 euros. And he was smoking near a highway in Paris. Just, the peripheric, the circular highway that goes around Paris. He was smoking there, and he told us that a car with 3 men inside stopped. They were wearing normal clothes, not the police clothes. But they said that they are from the police and he must show everything that he has in his pocket to check if he doesn't have any drugs. So he sit in their car, he gave to them everything from his pockets. They said, oh, it's very, very good, you don't have anything. So they just gave his stuff back. And when he came back to the hotel, he opened his wallet and saw all the money is missing. So they just took the money from his wallet and gave him back, you know, he was really, I think, stupid for a guy that is not a kid. Well, that's the end of the story. See you soon for more construction stories and for more construction. Have a good day.